Good morning and welcome to Korea Today, live from Seoul.
Will Samsung's Galaxy Note 3 offset its sluggish TV sales? The tech giant releases its third quarter earnings forecast in a few hours. Analysts zero in on whether its operating profit will reach 10 trillion won.
And finger pointings continue in the political arena over the 2007 Inter-Korean Summit transcript. More coming up in the headlines.
And Korea's growth outlook is set to see another revision. We'll unwrap that for you on In Print. A performing arts festival on the shores of East Hen Lake. I'll be back later with events from this year's popular festival.
And it's the largest gathering in Korea of film stars, movie critics and fans in films from all over the world. The 18th Busan International Film Festival opens its 10-day run of new movie magic. And from clam digging, salt farming to grilling king prawns, Matthew Chung gets the Taean experience heading out to the West Sea. And that's on Korea Today on Friday, October 4th, 2013.
From Arirang News, this is Korea Today.
Good Friday morning. Thank you for joining us on Korea Today. We're in Seoul, but don't you wish we're in Busan today?
I sure do, because Busan is lit up with stars and even fireworks. Hailed as Asia's biggest film festival, the Busan International Film Festival kicked off its doors for the 18th year, and they did all that with the fireworks lighting up the skies of Korea's largest port city last night. Now, over 300 films will be screened over the course of the festival, including 95 world premieres. So for you movie buffs, this is the place to be right now.
That's right. The media coverage was intense too. Some 2,500 reporters and photographers from home and abroad gathered for this opening ceremony, as well as the red carpet event, and lots of celebrities on the red carpet. And some have made fashion statements, and some have made what I can only describe as a fashion crime, really.
Yep. There's always the good and the bad, but there were some rather interesting dresses and tuxedos there.
Right. We'll have more scenes from the red carpet later on in our show, so do stay with us. But first, we'll go to Na Hyung-kyung for a look at the day's headlines.
Prosecutors say they will summon officials from the former progressive Roh Moo-hyun administration starting next Monday to find out why the 2007 Inter-Korean Summit transcript was not transferred to the state archives and whether the orders came from the late president himself. Sources say some of the officials who inevitably will be summoned include last year's presidential candidate and then Chief of Staff Moon Jae-in, as well as Kim Man-bok, the head of the National Intelligence Service at that time. And the ruling conservative Saenuri Party is not letting this one slide for Moon.
He should have looked into it in detail and done something about it. He himself will know very well that this shouldn't have come this far. I will not say in that way he should take responsibility. He should figure it out by himself.
But the main opposition Democratic Party still insists this is merely the ruling party's way of drawing attention away from disorderly state affairs.
The prosecution announcing initial investigation results in a surprise can only be seen as an attempt to turn the tides. We are demanding prosecutors also conduct a more thorough and fair probe on how the summit transcript was illegally leaked.
Experts are raising concerns that this will become a new source for even more political friction at the National Assembly that could further delay other parliamentary activities. Samsung Electronics is set to announce its earnings guidance for the third quarter on Friday, and attention is on whether the figure will surpass the 10 trillion won or $9.3 billion mark. Analysts predict it may fall shy of the symbolic 10 trillion won mark, but nevertheless will post a record high quarterly profit on the back of a rebound in its semiconductor business. Samsung's co-CEO Shin Jong-gyun had earlier hinted that the earnings for the third quarter will be better than the previous quarter, despite some industry concerns that its performance in the television and mobile sectors had slowed down. The world's largest memory chip maker has been posting record quarterly profits since the third quarter of 2011. Except for the first 3 months of this year, the company's profits for the second quarter of 2013 stood at roughly $8.9 billion. President Park Geun-hye will embark on an 8-day trip to Indonesia and Brunei on Sunday, where she will attend the APEC and ASEAN Plus 3 summits. At the 2-day APEC summit slated to start next Monday, the presidential office of Cheongwade says President Park will discuss ways to achieve sustainable growth and promote interaction of transportation, regulations, and personnel in the Asia-Pacific region. The president will then fly to Brunei to take part in multilateral summits with ASEAN leaders, where she is expected to seek ways to further strengthen economic cooperation. And on the last leg of her trip, she will head back to Indonesia for a 3-day state visit. Cheongwade says this reflects her economic emphasis on the ASEAN region, which has emerged as a so-called post-BRICS bloc. Japan has tried its best to build bridges with Korea regarding some historical issues, says its Foreign Minister Fumio Kishida. This, according to Japan's GG Press. At a bilateral security meeting between Washington and Tokyo Thursday, Kishida told U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry that Japan had always dealt with issues between Seoul and Tokyo in a sincere manner. He added the Abe administration has been repeatedly expressing its stance, which serves the same purpose as that of previous administrations. Kishida's comments come after President Park, during her talks with the U.S. Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel on Monday, blamed the Japanese leadership for hindering the process of establishing trust between Seoul and Tokyo.
And happy Friday, everyone. The missing 2007 Inter-Korean Summit Talk transcripts continue to make news this morning. But before we get to that, let's go ahead and take a look at the front page of 중앙일보. It has a front page image of the glitz and the glamour of the Busan International Film Festival that raised its curtain last night. Its title reads, Busan International Film Festival opens an impassioned festive night. And the caption goes on to say that some 5,000 spectators packed that space and cheered on as screen stars from Korea and abroad walked the red carpet at Asia's premier film festival. You're seeing an outdoor shot of the Busan Cinema Center there. The Film Fest will run until the 12th next Saturday and features some 301 films from 70 different countries. And we'll leave that story there for now, but definitely much more to come on the film festival later on in this show. Now, the main headline of 중앙일보 reads, in Lee Ji-won's system said to be undeletable, 100 political documents erased. Now, despite claims from former staff of the former president Roh Moo-hyun that his Lee Ji-won management system could not delete documents uploaded onto it, prosecutors have found traces of erased documents, some 100 others besides the disputed Summit Talk transcripts. And one investigator told the paper that the system does not have a delete button, but does not make it impossible to delete. Investigators are working on recovering those files as they will begin questioning those involved in the production and transfer of the documents starting next week. Scooting right over to Goyang Shinmun now, it has a very different headline on the same story. It reads, ruling party wields hidden family sword. Transcript whenever at a disadvantage, adding there that since the presidential race to the issue of basic pension, whenever challenges surface, the ruling party uses the quote-unquote NLL abandonment issue as a counterattack card. And the rival party is calling this a dirty situation turnaround trick, as you can see in the subheadline there. All right, and we'll go ahead and scoot on over to 동아일보. Its headline paired with the front page picture reads, Abe even participates in omikami ceremony. Now, the ceremony that Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe attended with his wife, First Lady Akie Abe, is called the Sengyonogi ceremony, and it takes place once in 20 years and honors the Shinto god Amaterasu Omikami. Now, the ancestral god of the emperor's lineage is considered to be the spiritual foundation of Shintoism, which the paper says was the basis for Japan's past militarism. The visit has sparked concern and criticism, the paper says, as some are calling Abe's visit a violation of Japan's constitution, which calls for the separation of religion and politics. Abe is the first sitting prime minister to attend this event. And staying with Japan, let's take a look at Joseon Ilbo's headline. It reads, U.S. raises hand for Japan's right of collective self-defense. And you can see there U.S. Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel on the very left and U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry in Tokyo, joined by their Japanese counterparts. They held a joint press conference following their security consultative meeting yesterday, and the U.S. welcomed Japanese government's plans to lift its ban on the right to collective self-defense, as well as its plans to raise its defense budget. They also called for China to follow international norms and show military transparency, hinting there that their joint statement was a message aimed at China. Meanwhile, China's official Xinhua news agency reacted by saying that the U.S. and Japan were walking a dangerous path. And finally, let's take a look at our business newspaper for today. Korea Economic Daily's headline reads, IMF to lower Korea's growth rate to 3.7%. That's from the 3.9% outlook previously made. Now, that revision is expected to be made sometime this month, the paper says, adding that it would shake next year's national budget from the core, the roots, raising concerns in the amount of taxes that the government would be able to collect. But it's not just the IMF that's lowering Korea's growth outlook. As you can see here, the Asia Development Bank already lowered its April projection from 3.7% to 3.5% this month. The Bank of Korea is also set to revise down from its July projection to a figure within the 3.8% range. The article cites an unnamed Bank of Korea official as saying that the Korean economy is not immune to the emerging country's economic stagnation, as well as other uncertainty factors on the world stage, not excluding the ongoing U.S. government shutdown. And with that, we'll wrap your look at what's in print on this Friday. Next up are your closing numbers from Thursday's market action.
And the typhoon Pito was expected to make landfall here on the peninsula, but it looks like the latest forecasts show that it'll take a turn towards mainland China instead, which means that no typhoon for us.
I see. Well, let's take a closer look at the weather conditions for today.
As well as the weekend.
With our Lee Da-mi, who is joining us from Mapo District in Seoul. Good morning to you.
Good morning, everyone, and TGIF. I'm reporting live from Mapo-gu, Seoul. Now, I hope everyone enjoyed their holiday yesterday as we saw picture-perfect weather. Some good news is that these weather conditions are going to continue into today. This morning, we're starting off with clear skies with no clouds to be found in the atmosphere, and the sun is rising at the moment. It looks like later in the afternoon, our highs are going to be a couple degrees higher than yesterday, and the sun will be quite bright. As for the temperatures this morning, it's 11 degrees Celsius, and as you can see, there will be a significant gap between our highs and lows, so please dress accordingly in order to prevent from catching a cold. Now, as for the Typhoon Fido, it looks like the tropical storm's path has turned towards its way towards China, and here in the peninsula, we'll be seeing good weather over the weekend, but on Sunday, we may expect some rain, mainly centered down towards the south. All right, well, let's go ahead and take a look at the weather around Korea. Seoul's and Daejeon's highs will both reach to the mid-20s. Daegu at 26, Gangneung will be the coolest at 23, while Busan at 25, Gwangju at 26, and Jeju at 24 degrees. That's all I have for the weather forecast. I'll be back in the latter half.
Still ahead, they make a fashion statement every time they step out the door. They bring in a flood of sales. We take a look at how Korea's trend-setting celebrities are practically becoming walking billboards, and there's a unique name for them too. Stay tuned to find out.
And staying on the subject of stars, they are shining very bright in the largest port city of Korea at the 18th Busan International Film Festival. Joining us is Esna Yoon to talk more about this. Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, and Busan is in a very festive mode right now with the 18th Busan International Film Festival. And big namers in the film industry, as well as actors and critics and fans alike, are all in one spot. We were there to cover the pre-party and, of course, the red carpet. Let's take a look. On Wednesday, the eve of the Busan International Film Festival opening, a pre-party is underway at the famous Nampodong BIFF Square. Movie fans go wild as top director Im Kwon-taek, leading film star Kang Soo-yeon, and other big celebrities appear on stage. Festivities heat up as the unveiling of the handprinting, the highlight of the pre-party, takes place. Popular K-pop groups such as Coyote and other singers signal the start of the festival with a mini concert. And just last night, the day of the 18th Busan International Film Festival opening, movie fans and media alike descend on the scene, heating up the atmosphere. And with top movie stars strutting down the red carpet, the opening of the festival takes place. From movie star to director, Park Jung-hoon makes his appearance with his film Top Star. Yoo Ah-in starring in Toughest Iron, Choi Seung-hyun, who returned to the silver screen for the first time in 3 years with the movie Commitment, and popular actor Lee Hyun-woo all capture the heart of movie fans at the opening ceremony. Top female stars also make a glamorous appearance on the red carpet. Kang Han-na and Han So-ah draw the eyes of many with their head-turning outfits. And leading actors Kim So-yeon, Kim So-na, and Ha Ji-won are also there to rally up support for the global festival. Heartthrob Oda Giri-jo from Japan and other global stars are also here on the red carpet to meet with their many fans. And it's not just guests. The host of the ceremony, Korea's Kang Soo-yeon, and Hong Kong star Arirang Kwok open the festival together.
안녕하세요. 나는 고구성입니다. 저 역시 곽부선 씨와 함께 오늘 이 무대에서 최선을 다해서 열심히 진행하도록 하겠습니다.
And with this, the 18th Busan International Film Festival opened its doors.
제18회 부산 국제영화제 화려한 개막을 선언합니다.
What are we doing here?
Right.
in Seoul?
This is boring.
We have the
though.
weekend, right? After our program, we could all head down to Busan.
Maybe.
Sounds good to me.
Last year, Tang Wei was the first foreigner to host the PIF event, and she gave the baton to another foreigner this time, Arirang Kwok, also known as Kwak Bu-sung here in Korea, right?
Yes, and
he's a piece of art, I say.
He is a piece of art.
Yes, he is. He's well known for starring in the Hong Kong police thriller Cold War. And like you mentioned, he did host the opening ceremony. And it's the second consecutive year that a foreign actor or actress has hosted the ceremony. So that is showing how global the film festival is actually becoming.
And many eyes were on Korean actors and actresses as well, and also on Park Jung-hoon and Ha Jung-woo, but now not as actors, but as directors this time.
This year we have them as
film directors, not as actors. And Park Jung-un was invited for Top Star, and Ha Jung-woo was invited for Fasten Your Seatbelt. And Ha Jung-woo's movie is about a Hallyu star who goes to Tokyo, but in the middle of the plane ride, they are going into a storm.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, they're just talking about stories, and that's what you get in the movie.
I had a sneak preview of the trailer, and I am really looking forward to that one.
Well, speaking of the Busan International Film Festival, we can't go without talking about the opening film, which was directed by a Buddhist monk from Bhutan, right?
Yes,
and it's
a
Vara,
Bhutanese
a
filmmaker.
Blessing, right?
Yes. Vara the Blessing was directed by Kyentse Norbu. I really hope that I'm getting that right. But it is his third feature film, and it's the first time that a Bhutanese film was at the opening movie for the opening ceremony, and it tells a story about a young woman who falls in love with the lower classman, and it has love, sacrifice, and the strong desire and willpower of one woman.
And let's talk about some of those dresses we saw on the red carpet.
We've been
And
dying
some
to talk about
beautiful-
those, right?
Right, dresses, but some that raised some eyebrows, I have to say.
Raised my
So let's-
eyebrows, that's for sure.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so for sure it was tube top dresses that led the trend, with Shin Ji-soo in her red tube top dress, and we have Kim Seona in a blue dress, and we have Shim Young who came out in a very beautiful lace, slight tint of pink, and Hwang In-young walked down the red carpet with a white silk dress.
So that's Shim Young. And upcoming will be yes.
Okay, so
Hwang
these
In-young.
are the
Absolutely
best
ravishing.
dresses,
These
right?
are the best
These are
dresses.
the ones that were voted as
I
the top
really
look.
like those that dress on Kim Seona. Really beautiful, right?
And we have some of the worst dressers. We can't not talk about those people. We have Koo Hye-sun, who wore a very short dress reminiscent of something that the late Andre Kim would wear.
So Koo Hye-sun is the
in the
furthest on the right.
boxy white dress.
Okay.
And then we have Ye Ji-won, who appeared mostly in green, and
The Green Goblin, right?
Jo
Right.
Oda-giri, who came out kind of looking comical.
with an
drew a lot of-
afro.
drew a lot of
Interesting
attention there.
choice of lipstick on the women in the middle. Who is she again?
Ye Ji-won.
Ye Ji-won.
Actress
Ye
Ye
Joe
Ji-won.
Odagiri, his dress might be proper for the VMAs or like a Grammy
Yes.
Awards, right? But for
Yes.
example, this is a film festival, so they're saying maybe it didn't fit the bill.
I mean, Koo Hye-sun, she is also a well-known actress and a director as well, but she's notorious for her outfits on the red carpet, I must say.
Notorious.
Yes,
Infamous.
notorious.
Oh, okay, that's not a good label for an actress, right? All right, well, thank you.
It's nothing
For your story.
All right, thank you for the story there.
All right, well, you saw some celebrities on the red carpet. I don't know if all those dresses will become an instant hit, but do you know the name we call the celebrities whose outfit just becomes an instant sellout?
Well, you can tell basically from these red carpet appearances, everyone's interested in what they're wearing. So I would say that they're walking advertisements.
Right, they're called 완판 star. It's a combination of the words 완전 판매, which means completely sold out. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I mean, it's not just those outfits that they wear in the dramas, but it's their day-to-day outfits. It used to be, the leading one-pan star used to be Yoon Hun-hae, but I would say nowadays it's becoming more Lee Bo-young and Gong Hyo-jin.
And also Go So-young.
Oh, she's always been the one-pan star.
Well, we'll see if those names made it
right,
onto this list over
gonna
here.
have a debate
right?
afterwards.
Okay, because what they wear, the next day, they may be completely sold out. These are some of your wanpan stars.
The hottest of Korea's fashionistas, from Gong Hyo-jin, So Ji-sub to Go So-young, Kim Hee-sun and Go Jun-hee, we meet them all. These are the stars that don one fashion item and you can expect it to sell out like mad. They're dubbed wanpan stars. We catch up with the latest trends through these fashion celebrities. It's not only clothes in dramas, films, commercials and on the red carpet, but also casual looks like at the airport on a day-to-day basis, starting from shoes to accessories that draw attention. With fans wanting to dress just like these wanpan stars, it leads to skyrocketing demand of the product until it sells out. That's why these celebrities focus on even the finest of their fashion items, since they play the role of setting the trends in the industry. First up of these wanpan stars is Gong Hyo-jin. Be it in dramas or movies, once Kong Hyo-jin sports a look, it becomes the latest trend, reflecting directly on the sales of these fashion goods. Her look in the popular drama Master's Son, which recently came to an end, is already riding the wave.
The character can be rather dark or scary, so they used a lot of achromatic colors, and instead of tight-fitting clothing, she wears a lot of comfortable-looking oversized long dresses.
The item she wore sold out in no time shortly after the show aired, with a flood of orders coming in. Not only that, the eco bag she carries with her various outfits also became a hot seller, not only with viewers but also in the fashion circles. It's not only Kong Hyo-jin but her partner in Master's Son So Ji-seop who is becoming another hot trendsetter.
If you wear casual jackets, colourful pants, no-tie shirts with a scarf, that makes it So Ji-seop's look in the Master's Son.
It's been dubbed the master look and is popular with male viewers. It's also when these stars step out on the streets, be it at the airport or in their casual wear, their style doesn't go unnoticed.
The style that celebrities wear at the airport draws a lot of attention because you get to see a more natural, casual side.
Especially the airport is where many of these trendsetters make a statement with new fashion items, which makes this a prime opportunity for fashion companies to market their style and goods. So a lot of these casual looks are actually sponsored items from these brands. From receiving sponsorship from brands to creating their own brand, some celebrities have taken it to a new level. One of the fashion icons for women in their 20s and 30s, actress Kim Nam-joo, famous for leading the trends, recently created some buzz by launching the brand Postina by Kim Nam-joo in collaboration with Italy's accessory producer Zanelato. Another one of Korea's leading fashionistas, actress Ko So-young, also launched her own clothing brand in February under her own name. And her products reflecting her personal style are chic and classy. Many female actresses have been spotted wearing her attire, and it's becoming more popular despite the steep prices. Known for her head-spinning charm as an octagon girl, Kang Ye-bin has also put her own bag in the innerwear brand Pixion, which is hot in the market. Kang Ye-bin took part in everything from planning to sales, and the innerwear recorded a near $750,000 in sales within 1 hour on a home shopping channel.
In fashion, you need icons, and celebrities are playing these roles. Because people have so much interest about these stars, all of this has come together as a genre in the fashion industry.
Wow, it's like an all-in-one package. These stars, they wear it, people see it, people like it, people buy it, and it's just a chain reaction. It occurs so naturally. No wonder people are so interested, and also businesses are interested in working with these stars.
Right. And that's why some of these, as we saw in the report, these stars have their own fashion brands, like Ko So-young, for example. She has a high-end, classy look brand that's out there, and pretty nice, those clothes.
Yeah,
just
right.
can't afford it, right?
I mean, in the past, it used to be that the stars were just lending their names for the brand, but now they're just more getting involved in making and designing, and from start to finish. So that's another kind of a changing trend there.
So why should I wear your clothes and help you sell them when I could make my own clothes and help myself sell my clothes, right? I mean, it's just logical, right? But the trends are changing. A lot of these stars and celebrities, they are turning into fashion experts, and not only that, designers as well.
That's right. Well, from fashion to festivals, what started out as a man-made lake in Goyang is now becoming a landmark over in Goyang. It's celebrating the 600th birth year this year. Lots of festivities going on there, including the famous Goyang Lake Park Arts Festival that's ongoing right now. And our reporter Im Yoon-hee was out until late last night to cover this story for us. Good morning.
Good morning. Yes,
Feeling okay?
I was there till pretty late. They had a special parade there last night. Wanted to bring back some of it for you guys. But yes, the Goyang Lake Park Arts Festival did begin, and you'll never guess who I ran into there yesterday.
Look who's raising her
So
hand.
you were out there late last night as well.
I just wanted to make sure she was working hard, right?
Yes, well, thank you for that. But anyway, this is a festival. It's an 8-day-long festival that's hosted by the city of Goyang, and it's dedicated to the performing arts, including anything from traditional Korean music to you had a magic bubble show to a cappella performances. And you have both amateur and professional artists all within that one festival. So this all takes place in the city of Goyang, and it takes place around the Goyang Ilsan Park, Lake Park, which is popular and a very big part of Goyang's culture. And now this year's festival will continue on through the weekend, and they have a lot more events planned. So let's take a look at the performances that have been going on so far. The fall season in Korea is a popular time for festivals and outdoor events. But the city of Goyang hosts one festival that's a little different from the rest. From pyrotechnics to puppeteers, the Goyang Lake Park Arts Festival features a variety of different arts and music performances, all centered around the landmark Ilsan Lake. Ilsan Lake is the largest man-made lake in Asia. Built in 1996, it was designed with the purpose of providing a recreational escape for the busy people in Goyang. Since then, it's become a popular part of Goyang's culture. Now, this year marks the 600th year anniversary of Goyang, and to celebrate, they've created a series of events and festivals to host at the park, including the Goyang Lake Park Arts Festival. The 5th annual Goyang Lake Park Arts Festival features 130 organizations and over 190 different performances. Artists range from locals to internationals, as well as professionals to amateurs.
The Goyang Lake Park Arts Festival isn't just for the professionals. It's also for budding young artists and those with different day jobs who like to perform as a hobby. There are 50 teams in the new artist category and 18 teams in the amateur category. But in the end, we want the pros and amateurs to join together in harmony.
But whether it be a globally recognized team or a local performance group, the participants of the Goyang Lake Park Arts Festival have all come to share their diverse works of art. With over 430,000 spectators expected this year, the Open Festival stages many performances in the beautiful Lake Park, as well as the streets throughout the city of Goyang.
It's really nice to have such a beautiful lake within the city like this with such a fun and exciting festival going on.
While the festival does provide a valuable opportunity for many local artists, one of this year's main features brings a story of fire and humanity from the waters of Spain to our very own Ilsan Lake.
Our main show we are performing here, Sails and Winds. We say that this sea that can be a perfect way of communication between human beings can be destroyed by the human beings because we are not really defending the sea. So this play tries to show that we love the sea. Please, do not destroy it.
Now, although Jaksha Theater has been to Korea before, this is the first year the Sails and Wind performance is being debuted in Korea after years of success in Europe. The Jaksha Theater has also brought a few bulls to this year's party, featured in the festival's opening parade. The family of Spanish bulls represents Spain's age-old bullfighting tradition. Attracting visitors of all ages, Ilsan Lake has gone beyond providing people with an escape from the city and has grown to be the perfect setting for this festival. As people strive to take advantage of Korea's brief fall weather, the Goyang Lake Park Art Festival has been and will continue to be a popular choice for many.
Wow, that is in Korea.
You know, when you said that it was an art festival, I was just imagining a bunch of paintings just being displayed on the side, right? This is a full-on party. It's amazing. Wow.
Performing arts festival, yes.
Okay, so as a performing arts festival, I saw a lot of attendees there, people that were performing. I mean, I play the guitar. Can I just go and perform if I want to?
You know what, Young?
You're not going to get a big audience there, though.
I'm not so bad.
We'll keep him company. We'll be the audience.
That's what I need.
We'll support you. But yes, if you are curious, you can perform there. It is open to both amateurs and professionals alike. You just need to register. But, you know, the festival did attract quite a few amateurs earlier on the start of the festival, and I did get to meet with one band. They're called the We Met Yesterday band, and I asked them, you know, what is the meaning behind your name? And they said that they simply met yesterday and they wanted to perform, and so they were out there.
Quite literally, huh?
Yes, and you know what? They weren't that bad. They were pretty good. But yes, the festival does contain a wide range of performers.
Okay, it was my first time to this lake park.
Yeah.
It's a huge area that you could easily get lost in that lake park, right? So if you could have like a map, I think that would be really helpful to take our viewers to you know, which
people who are there for the first time.
Right, to check out.
Yes, so all the performances are outdoors and the weather is outside and it's beautiful, but they are kind of scattered all over the place. So, you know, you really need to check out that map that you can find on the website. And there's the map, and these are just a few of the highlighted areas that you want to check out. And now the Haneul Square is where the biggest or the main events happen. That's also where they're going to have the grand finale fireworks show. And so these are just...
It almost looks like a map of an amusement park there.
It's humongous.
Where's my roller coaster?
You say that with fatigue, and that's humongous.
Right.
You were there yesterday, right?
A lot of walking involved, yes.
So
but what about for people who are more interested in other areas other than performing arts or just arts? I mean, you did say Ilsan Goyang Lake, Park Lake is very popular, so people go there a lot. Right?
Yes, that park is very popular, and they do actually hold a lot of events. It was mentioned earlier that it's the 600th year anniversary, so they did schedule quite a few events over the next few weeks, including the Goyang Autumn Flower Festival, which is a huge display of beautiful floral recreations of scenes from traditional Korea as well as characters. And as you can see, it was absolutely beautiful. They're all real flowers.
Wow.
Quite the crowd attractor.
I didn't see that yesterday.
Well, it's right after the end of this festival, and they're going to go ahead and have the flower festival there.
Yes, and that is open. Well, actually, they're all taking place.
Oh,
they're all overlapping.
Oh, okay.
So we will go support Young and then go take a look at the flowers.
I don't know about that. Leave me out of this, maybe.
Supporting Young part or the flowers part?
Supporting Young part.
All right, regardless, there's plenty of activities to do around that lake, especially over the weekend. Uni, thank you so much for joining us and giving us this information.
It was my pleasure.
All right, from flowers to eating off of food that you catch from the mud flats, we're going to be joined by Matthew Chung later on our program. Still ahead, we will take a trip over to Taean, the mud flats there. They sit on the beautiful beaches of the West Coast. Our chef Matthew Chung, he's going to show you how to enjoy grilled clams and prawns and indulge in other regional specialties. We introduce you to some invigorating food from the West Sea.
And time now to check back on our Dami, who is joining us from the Korean Film Museum, just in time for the 18th Busan International Film Festival.
So if you happen to be here in Korea for the film festival, and after the film festival, you can come up to Seoul and check that out. Dami, what do you have for us?
Ooh, she's reading something.
At a film festival, she's reading.
Right.
Okay.
So today is another special day here in Korea as a very important festival has started for many movie fans out there in the world are looking forward to none other than the 18th Busan International Film Festival. So that's why I decided to dress up a little, kind of bring the red carpet here to Seoul. And of course, that's what brought me here to the Korean Film Museum. Here you can find a variety of exhibitions that boast of 100 years of Korea's history, movie history, and it just goes to show how everything that happened in the past is what made the movie industry that we have this day. Now, just to name a couple of the exhibitions you can find here is the time travel of the Korean cinema for looking at the Korean film history, focusing on the first events between 1903 and the present, a series of actress biographies for looking at the socio-cultural history, and right here is the animation section. So here you can try out experience programs and feel for yourself what it is like making an animation. Now what you do is you get the stationery and you place it right on top of this screen right here. And then you kind of trace the outline, And I kind of did one a little earlier, and this is the final outcome. And then you get to stamp the title of the movie, or the animation. Voila! There it is. Finding the Tracks of Dinosaurs. Ooh, sounds interesting. All right, now as we move along, now earlier I was in a room that is actually an exhibition space that consists of a specially constructed setting where you may experience the ambience of a silent film theater. And earlier what I was reading was the script that the voice actor would read while the silent film is playing. Now, you know, this morning, just coming here, looking at the history and everything that's filled here in the museum about Korea's movies industry is just so interesting. It definitely is a place where the whole family can come enjoy their time. So you should definitely come on by, as the entrance is free of charge, and learn and get a feel for yourself of what Korea's history was like. This is your look at the Korean Film Museum. I'm Idami, Korea Today.
And TGI Friday, everyone, as we kick things off with the big event set to start today. That's right, it's time for the Formula One Korea Grand Prix set to begin at the Yeongnam Korea International Circuit. Of course, on the first day, the first practice round will take place as the drivers get adjusted to the circuit once again. Now, the qualifying rounds begin on Saturday with the final race taking place on Sunday. And seems like if the weather forecast holds true, it might be another wet race as it's forecast to rain on Sunday. Meanwhile, Sebastian Vettel of Red Bull Racing looked to win his third straight Korea Grand Prix this year. And moving on to the KBO, 2 more days of the regular season left as the LG Twins beat the Hanwha Eagles at the bottom of the 10th inning 1-0, with the SK Wyverns beating the Nexen Heroes 10-6. So with that said, let's take a look at the other 2 games that took place, starting off with the Samsung Lions taking on the Lotte Giants. Of course, going into the game here, first inning of the game, here's Hwang Jae-gyun with a 2-run double to left center field as Lotte takes an early 2-0 lead. Second inning of the game, here's Woo Dong-gyun at batting. He drills this one to deep right field. There it goes. Gone, a solo shot. Cuts the deficit to 2-1. Shifting over to the 5th inning of the game, here's Chun Jin-woo at bat. Kim Sa-hoon's gonna score on a wild pitch here, and it's 3-1. 6th inning, check this out. Park Sung-min crushes this ball to deep left field. There it goes. Back. Gone, a solo shot. Makes it 3-2. Before this next one here, Chae Young-woo does it as well with a back-to-back solo shot to right field. And we have a tied ball game. But in the bottom of the inning, Kim Dae-hoo with the RBI single to right field gives the Lotte Giants the lead once again. 7th inning, Hwang Jae-gyun at bat once again, this time an RBI double to left field, extends the lead here before Cho Hong-suk grounds out to second base. In comes Chun Jin-woo to score. But we're not done yet. Shin Bong-gi this time it's going to be an RBI single to right field, gives the Lotte Giants the 7-3 lead. Samsung would storm back as the game is tied 7-7 in the bottom of the 9th, but Cho Sung-hwan here with the game winner as Lotte takes this game 8-7. And next up, the Tucson Bears taking on the Kia Tigers. First inning is where all the action is as OJ singles in the first run of the game before the captain Hong Sung-in makes it 2-0 with an RBI single to right center. Next play, Lee Won-suk at bat at sac fly to right field gives the Tucson Bears the early 3-0 lead. But in the bottom of the inning, bases loaded for Park Ki-nam here, an RBI single makes it 3-1. Before the next play, Lee Dong-hoon at bat draws the walk as Lee Bom-ho comes in to score. Next up, here's Lee Hong-gu, and he's going to drill this one to deep left field. There it goes, a grand salami for Lee Hong-gu, and Kia takes the lead 6-3. Next inning, OJ with the bases loaded draws the walk here, and it's now 6-4. Kia going into the 9th inning with the lead, but Hong Sung-hoon with a lucky base hit here drives in another run. Before Chung Soo-bin, the hero of the game, here he goes, 2-run single as the Tucson Bears come all the way back to take this game 7-6. All right, so there are 2 more days left in the regular season in the KBO, but we still have no idea who's going to finish 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Now, after Thursday, the LG Twins have a half-game lead over the Tucson Bears, who are tied with the Nexen Heroes at 3rd. Now, later today, the Nexen Heroes play the Kia Tigers, and the LG Twins and the Tucson Bears face off on Saturday to close off the season. So, a very close race to the finish. So with all that said, it's going to wrap it up for me. This has been SJ. Have a great weekend, everyone, and see you guys again for your sports needs.
It seems that there are a lot of seafood specialties that are in season around this time. And joining us is Matthew Chung to talk about food from the mud flats as well as the West Sea. Good morning.
Good morning, Matthew.
Good morning. And you're right, because right now it's getting a little bit colder. And so that's the reason why we're talking about seafood. And the reason why is because you need to have, somewhat chilly waters in order for the seafood to sort of really get active. In warm water, seafood literally gets lazy.
Oh, so, just like us.
Yeah. So in colder waters, they're forced to move a little bit more. So the texture, it gets a little firmer. It gets, a little bit, more perfect. So I went to Taean, or the West Coast, and more specifically I went to Taean, and it's known for its mudflats. In fact, it ranks among the top 5 in the world. So why don't we take a look? So today we're in Taean, which is along the Seohead, the West Sea, and along that coast you find the mudflats, which is home to some of the most gorgeous seafood here in Korea. We're going to dig up clams today. There's taeha, which are these giant shrimp they can find here in Korea. And the season is about to start, so they're extra tasty this time of year. So we're going to have some delicious food today and have a ton of fun. So let's go. Here we go. One beautiful clam. We'll eat like kings tonight. Oh, wow. Look at this guy. They just told me that you don't find one of these more than once or twice a month. Now that's cool, and I'm going to eat it. All right, so what do you do when you find something delicious in nature? You cook it up and eat it, of course. Right now we've got this fire going. It's perfect. It's going to strap on my glove because, safety first. And here we go. All right, so we got a ton of different shellfish. You might recognize this guy as one we just caught ourselves. And then this is what's known as the kijoge here in Korea. And it's called a pen shell in English. And this one you have to go into slightly deeper waters to find, but you can still find these in the Seohead, the West Sea. So onto the fire it goes. And you see all these delicious juices? Oh, here we go. And you start to see it boil on the inside. And once they're open, they're ready to eat. The beauty of jogegui, about grilling the shellfish over an open fire like this, is in its sheer simplicity. This is pretty much it. No other condiments, no sauces, no seasoning goes in there. All the flavor is in that shellfish already. And all we're doing is bringing out the best of it. You don't even really need the chojang. You could just, when they've just been cooking in their own juices like that, nothing else. With big guys like this, you gotta slice them up because, let's face it, it's a little bit too much. What is it, trying to get that all in one bite. And then you eat it over rice. And all this gets topped with a dollop of chojang, which is gochujang, the Korean red pepper paste with vinegar. And so it's got this spicy, tart, sweet complexity to it that really lends itself really well to seafood. So these are taeha. They're plump, they're luscious, they're beautiful, and they're gonna get grilled almost just as simply as those clams were. We're gonna do them right over some salt. You hear that popping? It's because there's a little bit of moisture trapped inside those salt crystals. All right. Yep, these are ready. Ooh, they're hot too. Oh yeah. All right, first thing you gotta do, gotta eat the head. This is the best part. This is where all the flavor of the shrimp is. Mmm. So what I'm doing right now is I'm actually making salt. If you remember that salt that I used to grill the Taean, there's that exact same salt. And salt can come from a variety of sources. It can be mined, it can even come from natural gas. But this one, it comes from the ocean and is gathered all naturally, just like this. This is actually really relaxing. It's like a combination of being in the ocean and also being in the garden. I don't really want to leave. So we're at Yeongyusikwan, and we're about to have a specialty of this region. It's known as urokjeokguk, and it's something they can only get in this region, and I've never had it before. I've never even heard of it before, but it smells delicious. Now, Korea has a long history of dried or semi-dried fish or salted fish. We do a lot of different things with seafood in order to either preserve it or change its texture or its flavor. So I love urok on its own, so let's see how it turns out after it's been salted and boiled again. One other thing that's really cool about this dish is that the broth used for it, the stock, is actually the water that's left over after you wash rice. So I've never had anything like it before. There's a word in Korean, it's 담백하다. And there's no real translation for it. It means rich, but it's not really rich. It means like savory and meaty, but it's more than that. It's all of those, yet it's none of them at the same time. It's hard to explain because there's no real English word for it, but trust me, it's delicious. I think Seohae, the West Sea, it's really underrated. It's close to Seoul for one, and it's got a lot of delicious seafood. And those two reasons alone are definitely reasons for me to come back. I'm going to come back just to have this dish again.
I'm not a big fan of seafoods, but I do have a soft spot for grilled prawns, and it tastes so much better in the fall season. Why is that?
Well, I mean, was it in the fall? I mean, right now it's when they're at their height in terms of, size and texture as well. I mean, and not only that, there's something about the weather too. It's not too hot, so you can go, you can be outside, you can grill them, and what is it? Just gathering out in this beautiful weather right now. I think, we mentioned earlier in the show that right now it's kind of at that peak of perfect autumn weather here in Korea.
What's interesting is that you mentioned that eating the heads is the best part, and I love it. Most people leave it and they don't have it. They don't.
You can have mine.
I will. I'll take that shrimp head of yours because it's just so good. But anyhow, is there a reason that we're grilling it on salt?
Well, for a couple of reasons. For one, when you grill it on the salt, it gets seasoned by the salt. So, that extra little kick of salt right there, gives it that extra bit of flavor. But the other reason why is because salt, it doesn't melt. It's not like sugared, in that sense. So, you can put it over the fire and it'll remain intact as crystals. And those crystals kind of dissipate out the heat and even it out so you don't get
more evenly.
Yeah, so you don't get any hot spots. You don't get ones that sort of scorch and ones that don't cook. It's a way to sort of create a sort of pan on top of the fire, so to speak.
I never realized it had so much science in it. But anyway, the urokjeokguk, shame on me, but I've never heard of that dish before. How was that?
Neither had I until that day. That was the first time I tried it too, and it was really fantastic. I mean, so urok, it's a type of rockfish that you find here in Korea, and it's really common. It accounts for, I think, 30% of the fish that are fished here, and the urokjeot, it's basically sun-dried urok, the rockfish.
Okay, so usually they have it as a raw, as hue we do.
Yes, that's probably the most common way you find it here in Korean cuisine. But when you have it prepared like that in the soup, it's really tasty because the broth, it pretty much just consists of the water that you get after you wash rice and the fish itself. So it's very clean, it's a very straightforward soup, and it's got this fantastic, meaty, it sticks to your ribs.
That it uses saltemul too, that the leftover water from after having rinsed the rice.
I love dishes or broth, those soups that have a base with the saltemul. It's really good.
Because it gives it that, it's clean and it gives it that sweetness that you get from the rice, as well as a little bit of body as well, because it has that starch that's been washed away.
Well, before you go, there are a lot of things to do on the West Coast, as we saw some of the activities that you partook in. Are there any other activities that you would recommend?
Most of the activities that I'd recommend this time of the year all have to do with seafood. And that's not because there's nothing to do there. It's because right now that's what you got to go for. That's what's special about that region this time of the year. So later on this month, we're going to have the Anmyeong Island King Prawn Festival. And that's going to go until October 27th. And so, that you have things like that, that really you need to get out there and start eating.
Right. Maybe not one for you, Min-jung, I don't know. But you did say you have a sweet spot for King prawns.
Young has to tag along and have
Take your heads, right?
Eat your heads.
So it makes you guys a great team.
Right. Well, thank you, Matthew, for that story. I'm going to head to Anmyeon-do right after the show. And I'm going to tag Young along, right? You're coming with me?
I'll be looking forward to those shrimp heads.
All right, that's our show for today.
All right, thank you for joining us. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday at 7 a.m.
Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Let's go.